The Power of the Many series. My name is Andre Dre Vision, aka Mr. Cummins in this mini-series, better known as You Dig. I just want to say I'm real grateful about being a part of this Power of the Many series. And it's funny how that You Dig name come along. A lot of people ask me, "Well, will you come up with Minister You Dig and this and that and the other?" But I remember that Apostle Ron Wilson gave me my first break here as being a Christian comedian. And I remember the MC coming back there as far as all the other different characters I normally do. He said, "Well, what you gonna call the minister?" And for some odd reason, I know it's the Spirit. He said, "You dig." And it came along after the fact that You Dig means ultimate device incorporated by God, because he has recalibrated and transformed me into what I am today. And when these producers, gave me my script, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, they got a camera or something up underneath my chair, or they got a camera in the crib. I mean, how they know, that this script is almost about me? And that's how I knew that God has his hands on it, coming from a background, 5 years ago, it was like I thought my life was over. I'm a recovering alcoholic. A lot of people look at me like, "No, you ain't never drink." Yes, I did. And I am just a product of what God can do. I used to, same areas that I'm filming in the same areas that I have my job, that I live, and I did my fishing and this and that and the other. I'm looking back now, I'm like, I was in these same places back then, but I'm recalibrated, and he's showing me how good his grace is. One thing I want to say is, when you have a problem, the mirror is always going to follow you. It don't matter where you go, wherever you try to run or hide, it's still going to be there. I lived in 2 different states. I went through a situation with my ex-wife and this and that and the other, and I thought my life was over, and they came to me having someone else control me, even though I knew better. So one day I just looked in the mirror, and it's like a big flash, like a light bulb came above my head and said, "Enough is enough." That means that I hit my rock bottom. My body was tired. I was losing people around me, even my family members. They looking at me like, "Man, you don't even look like yourself." My one cousin, I'm gonna get her too. My one cousin said, "Man, Andre, man, you was looking like one of them wobblehead dolls. Your body was all small head, looking all." I said, "Okay, all right." And after hearing my loved ones, have that concern, I said to myself, of course I went and got one more, hit him to the head. And I walked up here to this church, and my Uncle Apostle and PD, they took me to go get some help. And everything started there in 2007. And I thank God for that, because if I didn't do that, the dots would not have connected to where they are right now. And then when I drive around to some of these places I used to hit, I just thank God, man. I used to go in these liquor stores, man, and I had some baggy pants on because I only had enough for one, but I knew I needed 2. Put one in my back pocket, put one on the counter, and I used to treat myself on the weekends with 5 fingers and grab me one of them shot bottles. And I'm looking at that, man, I'm like, wow, man, God's grace. It's all about God's grace. God's grace was on me. It was on me because I surrendered myself. So now with all this recalibration, God has given me peace. He's given me patience, to receive his grace. And it all started with a vision when I lived in a hotel in the inner city for 6 months. People like, "Man, you live in a hotel?" I said, "Don't worry about me. I got my serenity and my sobriety. And God is doing something right now, so I got to allow him to do it." I even had to push my kids aside just for that to happen. Now we have a better relationship. Write the vision down, make it plain. I stuck with that vision, and when things didn't work out that I wanted to work out, I went right back to the vision that I wrote down. I said, okay, that wasn't even a part of it, so let me stick right here. So every year, things started transforming for me, and it was all about the passage and the word that came from Apostle. Be patient, You know, sow your seed. Even if you have the money to sow your seed comes out some kind of way. You know, do it in somebody's life. You know, be a testimony to somebody, and that's what I'm doing right now. So with this, when Ken came along and I did my audition thing, you know, and he gave me a script, I thought I was gonna get a comedy part in it, and he said, "No, I want you to be Mr. Cummins." I said, "Okay, all right." So I'm looking at the script, and I'm looking through the script. I'm looking through it. I'm like, "Wow, God, you did it again. You did it again." I said, I'm gonna stay on my toes. I'm gonna stay focused." And when I'm reading it, and when I get into doing my acting with it, you know, my thought process, I go back, and it's the Holy Spirit. Sometimes when I'm even doing the script, I'm like, "Wow, did I say that?" You know, but I know His hands is on this whole power thing, you know, and everyone that I'm working around, I'm quite sure they feel the same way, you know, that God's hands is on this. And I really want this to be a great input, not just to the young, but to the old too. In the midst of all of that, within the 5 years, I met a beautiful woman named Angela and wound up marrying her. I never thought I'd get married again, never thought I'd have another family again, but He was bringing me through stages to get back up to that. Now I have double than what I had in the first place. So whenever, you know, you think, and just like I thought, that bad things was happening to me, it wasn't bad things, it was a change, it was seasons, and that's what seasons is about. God, He works in seasons, and we have to pray and ask Him to give us patience with His work. So I have a beautiful family, and that, you know, I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to a lot of more things. Yeah, that was my drink. Look at that. There went up looking bright. Good thing I did stop drinking. It's called Power the Many series, and it's going to start airing January the 4th on TLN. And it's going to be it's urban, you know. It's almost. Yeah, it's almost like the show that used to come on years ago that everybody used to stay tuned in on. I can't mention the name,
like
but this is the
show?
Yeah.
Awakening.
Mr. Cummins is my name on there. I'm the lead actress's dad, and I'm just doing a testimonial video right now from where I came from. I got recalibrated and brought me where I'm at right now. And this is one of the stores right here I used to just hang out with.
Really?
And I still see some of the guys. I look at them like, man, I still could have been stuck like that.
But you can go on my Facebook page, Andre Dre Vision Smith. That's my Christian comedian page. I do Christian comedy too.
Oh.
Yeah. So our church is located right up the street, Full Gospel Christian Assembly.
International.
International.